Thank you very much. Appreciate our witnesses. Appreciate it, Mr. Chairman. Um, Dr. Shelton, you were talking earlier about Guam's capacity and the batteries that you're developing. And by the way, I love your island. In fact, I love all the islands we've had representatives from. But at Guam, uh, I even loved being a single lover at Two Lovers Point out there. But you got a beautiful island. But I was wondering, I'm from Texas, and what we have found is, um, and I don't want to be too elementary, but uh, in severe storms, especially prolonged severe storms, solar doesn't end up being a very reliable energy source. And I still have confidence someday some bright mind is going to figure out how we can hold gigawatt electricity, massive amounts, and not lose much, but hold it efficiently. And I think that is the far greatest need we have. If we can hold massive gigawatt electricity, as you know, we can hold DC currents and little batteries, but we're not there. But when we can, our problems will be over, I think. But in the meantime, you mentioned the batteries that you have, and I'm wondering, what is the capacity that you have? How much energy are you able to store, and for how long?
Thank you for the question, Congressman Gohmert. I don't think I spoke about batteries, but I do know that the Guam Power Authority is developing a solar farm right now that should have around 100 something megawatts storage capacity. So I think our total island need for is in the megawatt range. We don't have um,
Gigawatt.
I mean 200 something.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I'll find the correct numbers to submit in writing, but I
Okay.
think we're in the 100 megawatt range for the storage right now with that capacity. So perhaps as islands can set to serve as an example in bright spot with our lower energy needs, that the battery storage are actually more feasible here than in large scale gigawatt states like
Yeah.
Texas.
Oh. And how much, I'm haven't seen a briefing recently. How many American troops do you have at Guam now? I was thinking some years back they were increasing those numbers. So it is important that we not only keep Guam powered for the good people of Guam, but also the wonderful host that you've been to American service members. Do you know about how many you've got out there on the far end of the island?
No, I'm sorry, Congressman. I don't want to take a guess at that. I know we have quite a
Oh,
few,
okay.
but I will say that the Guam Power, the Department of Defense is one of our Guam Power Authority's largest customers, and I think they have a good partnership with the reliability that Guam is providing for the Department of Defense's energy needs.
Okay. Well, I mean, back before nuclear energy, the Navy was the most intensive at developing battery capacity. But then when nuclear came along and submarines and ships shifted over to nuclear, uh, that money and that effort at research failed. But now we've got a new interest in that. I'm hoping we'll get there at some point. But we also learned in Texas through our latest storm that wind capacity can be so overwhelming that it becomes a non-factor. So the renewables, I think the key to the renewables is if we can develop a way, whether it's a battery or some type of capacitor that can hold that energy. Heck, we might even be able to capture some lightning to power things. But in the meantime, we got to struggle along. I wanted to ask Ms. Monson, um, you're right. There's been two Category 5 devastating hurricanes. I mean, Puerto Rico has suffered before, but Category 5 really is so devastating. Um, with China set to double the number of coal-powered plants that they have, and India's continuing to just spew so much pollution into the air, ends up coming over the U.S. I'm wondering what specific actions can the United States take that will stop Category 5 hurricanes?
Well, thank you for the question. I mean, this is not going to get any better from here. This is something that we have to understand. The hurricane trend of Category 4s and 5s is up. And unfortunately,
Right.
this is going to be devastating for our islands. Before, we thought that we would have a Category 5 every almost 100 years. Now we're thinking perhaps 25, 20 years. And we don't know. We're 3 months from the hurricane season, from starting the new hurricane season, and we are in a very fragile environment because we're still recovering from Hurricane Maria. We had a earthquake sequence, and we also are under COVID. So all our resources are compromised and are vulnerable to face another hurricane season.
Well, and that's why I was hoping that you knew of something specific we could do to help reduce the Category 5. The last thing Puerto Rico needs is another 5. So anyway, hopefully at some point we'll figure out what can be done to end Category 5s. But in the meantime, our hearts and our assistance goes to Puerto Rico. I know you're struggling, but my time is expired, and I appreciate your participation. Thank you.
Gentleman yields. Let me now ask Ms. Lejeune.